In a house in the woods, Vanessa is looking through the window when suddenly she's startled by a bird hitting the glass. Vanessa comes out to look at the dead body and her husband Alex joins her, trying to hold Vanessa's hand to comfort her. However, she just walks away. Later, Vanessa tells Alex and his brother Martel that last night she heard a loud noise that sounded like an explosion coming from the forest. Martel talks about a facility in the forest, which was rumored to have weird experiments happening inside. People used to go missing and the facility was shut down, so now the forest is supposed to be claimed as a preservation. However, Alex thinks it was a story made up by their dad, who abandoned them. Martel thinks their dad was searching for something, but Alex dismisses the idea. Then Vanessa decides she needs some time alone and gets ready for a walk in the forest. Martel gives her a rifle to fight off any wild animals and casually asks if the couple has decided to sell the house yet. Alex says they're thinking about it, but Vanessa is against it, which triggers an argument that makes Vanessa leave in a huff. Alex follows her and explains his brother is just trying to help them move on, only for Vanessa to ask Alex if he wishes she was the one who died that night instead of their son. Alex swears he's already forgiven her for the car accident and doesn't want to lose her too, but Vanessa just leaves for her hike. After crossing the lake on a boat, Vanessa wanders around the forest for a while. Eventually she takes a break and closes her eyes, only to hear a noise nearby. When she moves to investigate, suddenly someone shoots at her, so she immediately takes cover behind a tree and shoots back, hitting the person on the leg. But when she looks through the scope, she's shocked to discover the mysterious shooter is herself, who is now going away. At the house, Alex is worried because it's been 2 hours since Vanessa has been out in the forest and tries to contact her through the radio, but she doesn't reply. At that moment she comes back looking very obviously shaken, but when Alex tries to ask her what happened, she just says she saw a bear and rushes inside. Alex goes after her and finds her crying, so he begs her to open up and points out she continues to block him out of her life. Vanessa snaps at him, accusing him of moving on too fast and pretending to want a normal life when they can't have that. After kicking him out, Vanessa remembers what happened and searches her suitcase for her medicine, which comes in yellow bottles. But in the end she doesn't take it. In the evening, Vanessa is watching TV when Alex tells her that Martel is grilling outside, so she should join them. At first Vanessa ignores the invitation but eventually changes her mind. On her way out, she sees some physics formulas on a board. Over dinner, Martel shares a story about the time their dad took them fishing, and Martel almost drowned. He tells them that he started to look at life differently. Initially, he started to drink and then realized that no matter what, humans aren't in control of anything and the decision has already been made for them. There are no mistakes, just lessons learned, and now he's been sober for years. Vanessa feels like she's being patronized and gets up to leave as she grabs her things. When Martel tries to help her, he accidentally burns his hand and rushes inside to take care of it. Then Vanessa goes back inside too, only to find Martel pouring himself a glass of whiskey. She immediately confronts him, asking if everything he just said about going clean had been a lie, but at that moment she notices his burn is already healed. Martel says it wasn't as bad as they thought and decides to go out for a walk. When Vanessa turns around, she's surprised to see Martel with a bandaged hand walking toward her. Shocked, she rushes to her room. That night, Vanessa can't sleep because she keeps thinking about what she saw in the forest. She decides to grab a weapon and go for another walk to search for answers. Deep in the forest, she finds a fence that has been pushed open and some blood on its side, which could have been left by the woman she shot before. Ignoring the caution signs, Vanessa crosses the fence and walks down a trail that takes her to a natural tree arch. After crossing it, she sees a tree on the ground and continues to search the area. After a few hours of wandering, she finds the arch again, and when she looks through it, she's shocked to see the same fallen tree. She looks behind her to find exactly the same thing and freaks out, so she ties her scarf around a branch before leaving, marking the trees as she tries to find the rest of the forest. Moments later, she bumps into the arch again, but her scarf is gone. Vanessa tries to go back following her own marks, but they've disappeared as well. Running around only takes her back to the arch, so a terrified Vanessa finally decides to leave, crossing the fence again without noticing the blood is gone. Once she gets home, Vanessa finally tells Alex everything she saw, but Alex doesn't believe her. He thinks she sounds as crazy as his dad did before disappearing and begs her to take her medicine. Alex also tries to bring up the subject of their son and Vanessa slaps him for it, but Alex keeps going. He says he's apologized many times and wonders if she wishes he had died instead of their kid, describing the accident as if he had been the one driving. Vanessa becomes very confused because her son died while she had been driving, but when she tries to mention that, Alex calls her crazy and asks her to take her medicine. He even gives her the bottle, and Vanessa is shocked to see it's blue. At that moment Martel walks in with a bandage on his left hand, but Vanessa remembers he hurt his right hand. Scared, Vanessa returns to the forest while ignoring the guy's worried words. She can't find any of her marks on the trees, and when she approaches the arch, she notices someone sneaking around in the bushes. Vanessa immediately hides and points her weapon at the mysterious person, asking them to come out. At that moment Alex comes out with his hands up and explains he isn't her husband, he's an Alex from an alternate universe. Vanessa notices he isn't wearing a wedding ring and is wary of him, but Alex swears he won't hurt her and convinces her to talk. Then Alex takes her to his little campfire and takes out some cigarettes, which surprises Vanessa because her Alex doesn't smoke. This Alex explains that the forest is connected to multiple universes and in each one there are small differences in their other selves, from haircuts to scars. Alex has been stuck here for a while and has visited multiple universes, so he's designed a theory. As he takes out a notebook with the same drawings Vanessa saw on the board, he explains that the forest is the origin, and there are 4 points within the squares where you can cross over. This Alex is also a physicist while Vanessa's never got his PhD and got stuck as a math teacher. However, the most shocking thing about this Alex is that Vanessa left him after they lost their son, but he misses her and is desperate to find her. Vanessa wonders if there's a universe where their son is still alive, but Alex says he wasn't able to find one. In all the places he's visited, the boy died in the car accident or never existed. Afterward, Alex comes up with a plan to find their original spaces. He wants to tie fishing wire to the tree they are currently at and take the other end with him while exploring. Hopefully by following the wire on the way back they would be able to return to the same spot. However, they're going to need more than what he's got, so they decide to visit the house of the first universe they walk into. They sneak into the garage and find more wire, but also some explosives. Suddenly they're startled by Martel, who starts crying and asks them to stop haunting him as he knows they aren't real because he has buried their bodies. It turns out that in this world, Martel had been driving during the accident that killed both Alex and Vanessa, who had been 8 months pregnant at the time. Since then, Martel thinks their ghosts keep appearing in the house, but he's probably seen alternate versions of the couple coming from other universes. Alex and Vanessa tell Martel to be kind to himself before returning to the forest. They set up the wire and agree on code words to recognize each other. Room 1111 Bed 8, which was the hospital room Alex's son stayed in for 3 months. Before leaving, Alex shares how he got lost in the forest. One afternoon he entered the house and heard some weird noises, only to discover 2 Martels fighting each other. They ran away from the house and Alex followed them. A Martel told him that their dad was right before running into the forest with the other one, and when Alex tried to follow them, he got lost. In return, Vanessa tells him about shooting her other self. Then the 2 of them share a kiss before Alex leaves in the middle of the night. The next morning, Vanessa sees the wire move and quickly moves to see Alex coming, so she says room 1111, to which he answers bed 8 to confirm he's the same one. Alex explains he found a version of him, Vanessa, and Martel that were a happy family, but he had to run when that Vanessa saw him and fainted. He also announces that he's gotten the hang of the multiverse navigation, so he's brought the explosives from the garage to blow up each entry to other worlds so they can't return to the wrong ones. Vanessa realizes that's the sound she heard at the beginning because there's a time difference as well. That night, Alex leaves again and after a few hours, the wire starts shaking. Vanessa whispers the code but nobody answers, so she puts out the fire and goes to investigate. Following the wire, she makes it to the house and finds Alex drunk on the counter. He doesn't understand her when she mentions the code, but then he starts talking about her disappearing into the woods. Vanessa asks what hand Martel got burned, and when Alex says right, Vanessa realizes she's back in her original world and hugs him. At that moment Martel enters the room, and when Vanessa turns around, Alex breaks a bottle on her head to knock her out. Minutes later, Vanessa wakes up tied to a chair in the garage. Alex wants to shoot her because he thinks she isn't Vanessa, but Martel is trying to stop him. When they see her awake, Alex says he's already killed her and reveals a body nearby. It turns out the Vanessa with the bullet wound came to the house, thinking it was hers. Alex thinks the dead Vanessa is his and this one is a doppelganger, so he's going crazy over the confusion. Vanessa tries to tell him his dad was right, but that only makes him angrier. Alex is about to shoot her, so Martel jumps on him and they start fighting for the gun. In the struggle, the gun is accidentally shot and Alex ends up dead. After saying goodbye to his brother, Martel frees Vanessa and sends her back to the forest, saying she doesn't belong there. Then he self-deletes with the same gun. Thinking about how she lost everyone she loves, Vanessa spends the night in the tree arch, and in the morning, she tries to find the campsite again. To her shock, she finds a dead Alex nearby and notices he doesn't have a wedding ring, but he does have the mark of one, meaning someone killed him and stole it. Afterward, she checks another universe and finds a very happy family having fun, so she decides to go back to the forest and take a nap. A few hours later, Alex finds her and uses the code word correctly. Vanessa notices he's wearing a ring and realizes he killed the other Alex to take his place. She calls him out for it, but Alex defends his choice, saying she needs to find a new space too. Then Alex takes the other Alex's body to the entrance of his chosen universe and plants the dynamites before running to his new life. Vanessa goes as far away from the explosion as possible, and while she's taking a break, she's approached by another Vanessa, who is also aware of the multiverse problem. In fact, this Vanessa is the one that divorced the murdering Alex. She's deeply depressed over her son and doesn't want to go back to her world, so she's seriously considering shooting protagonist Vanessa to take over. Desperate to defend herself, protagonist Vanessa takes a rock and hits her other self, instantly killing her. Realizing what she's done, she runs away and enters the nearest universe. The house looks the same, so she takes a shower and finally has a breakdown before going to bed. The next morning, She sees the bird hitting the window and dying. When she goes outside, a new Alex comforts her, and this time Vanessa lets him hold her hand and kiss her. After a very cozy breakfast with Alex and Martel, Vanessa accepts this as her new home and goes upstairs. When she opens a door, she's shocked to see a child's room, and suddenly a boy's voice calls her mommy. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.